All right, guys, welcome back to the course. In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to design your own resume with Canva. So here on screen, you can see my resume. This is a resume I created in 2019 when Canva asked me for one, actually. I didn't apply for my job at Canva. I was recruited by Canva. So I guess my CV here was not so important to get the position because they were offering me a position, but they were still requiring a resume. So this is the resume that I had previously done for previous jobs I had applied to back when I was working with my nonprofit, which is called Fair Trade Connection. So this CV is very much oriented Fair Trade Connection, nonprofit. But it is my background. It is real information. So we are going to go over this CV because while doing this course, I realized I have been doing the right thing with this resume. It kind of checked all the different sections that a resume might have. So let's go over them quickly. So the first section that your resume must have is your name, your professional title, and contact details. So you will see that all of this is basically everything that is here on the header of this resume. So you can see my name, professional title, and my contact details here. And I made them clickable. So let me zoom in a little bit on this. So you can see name, professional title with a little statement here, and my contact details. And you can see I left links to my social media profile, to my LinkedIn profile, to the Instagram of Fair Trade Connection, and also the Facebook of Fair Trade Connection. Recently in Canva, I just slightly changed that. Let me show you. I slightly changed my contact details here for social media. I kept my LinkedIn. I added the Facebook page for Fair Trade Connection because this has grown along the years. So this is the only change I brought to this resume. But anyways, what I want to show you here is that this resume checks all the sections. The second section that your resume must have is a personal statement or a career objective or a professional summary. So this is to get the attention of people starting to read your resume, started to really like scan through your resume so that they have a good reason to read more. So here, just right under my photo where people's attention will probably be focused, my photo, I have the About Me section. And so this About Me section clearly states who I am, what I want in my professional career, my ambition, and what I am all about in terms of like work, right? So 30-year-old from Belgium, I'm 39 now. I'm a visionary digital media entrepreneur who has dedicated his life and career to promoting fair trade. My ambition is to revolutionize the way we sell ethical products. So I think this is a good professional summary for me, but like back then, back in the time. Now I am more like Canva oriented and digital media, community building, all these things. But back then, that was what I was really into. So that's the professional summary. So it checks that section as well. Third section is the employment history or the professional experience. So that's the section right here, professional experience. And we mentioned that this needs to be reversed chronological order. So that's founder and manager of Fair Trade Connection was my latest job before Canva. Then online instructor specialized in visual marketing. These two, like they were kind of going on at the same time. So it's okay, you can choose the order in which you want to state them, and then conference coordinator. All right, so the next section, the fourth section, is your education and qualifications. So education, of course, is the studies that you might have done. So any kind of degree you receive, diploma, you have to state them here. And then also qualification, I like to include skills and languages. So these are represented here on the lower bit, the lower part of the resume. And then the fifth section is kind of like additional sections that you might add. Those might be some hobbies, some key personal skills that you have, or anything that you really want to be on that resume and that you haven't had any chance to put there. So I added two things here in the pipeline. So those are kind of the projects I was working on at the time. and my personal skills. So I just give a bunch of adjectives about me, about my personal skills that kind of give someone a good indication of what kind of person I am on a personal level, like human skills. So this is the resume we are going to reproduce based on some Canva elements. So I suggest we jump into Canva and we start designing. All right, guys, we are now into Canva and let's get down to business. Let's create your resume. And we are going to reproduce my resume here that has all 5 sections that we want to have in our resume. Let me zoom out a little bit to fit. So you can see the resume. It's only 1 page. I just duplicated this page here and I will come back to this later. But for now, this is how your resume or the resume that we will create together will look like. Of course, you have to fill it with your own information. And here, for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to be using this information of mine. Okay, so I'm going to be recreating it from scratch, but using my information. Of course, you will use your information. All right, so let's open a new tab all together. Okay, so here, going to Canva, and we are going to start with the template library. I want to show you briefly that if you type resume in the template library, you will find a bunch of resume templates. So of course, this is probably the best place to start from and to go get inspiration. That's what I did when I started creating this resume. I went to the template library, I found a couple of templates that I liked, and then I just start picking elements in this template, other elements in this other template, until I get something I'm very satisfied with. So this is what I did. And for example, you will see this ID here with the little balls that are kind of representing my level instead of a loading bar, because we know loading bars are a thing. I'm using these dots right here to kind of show my level or my proficiency in languages. So this is an idea that I took from one of the resumes here. Of course, the layout, the columns, the photo, etc. All of this has been borrowed from some of the templates. So it's always nice to use and to pick the different things that you like in a template. And the way to do it, you can just open a template. So you use as a template, and you will simply, if you like this title right here, for example, you will simply copy that. So you click on it, you can Control C, and then you go let's create an A4 document. So of course your document should be A4. Okay, that's the standard for like normal sheet of paper correspondence. And I will paste, and you see, that's how you can go to a certain template and just copy different elements and paste it in your own element. We are not going to do this. We are going to design from scratch. All right, but I wanted to show you the template library because this is super powerful and because you can find a lot. You see it even like filtered. You can filter your resume, infographic resumes. You can go back and you can also search for CV, works as well. See, you will have the same filters. So graphic design CV, then you get more creative stuff. So start there. If you know exactly what you want, you can do like we are doing, starting from scratch, and let's go. So I'm going to close this and we are going to start designing this. So we see here the first section here that will have my name, professional title, and personal details is a big frame with a photo in it. So how do you do this? You go to your elements and you search for a grid. And then once you get your grid, you can reduce it slightly like this. So here you can have a couple of options. You can go with a photo like mine. And what I'm going to do is 47. I'm going to have the same, same scale on both pages. So I know more or less what I'm doing. Okay, I can pull this down a little bit more. So I can go with a photo. I can go with a plain color. It's really up to you. In this case, I'm going to see if I have a nice photo here. Yeah, let's use this, for example. And I'm going to add a filter to this photo. Okay, so I'm going to go adjust and maybe desaturate and maybe also flip this. Okay, what I really like about this photo is that it shows me in a professional setup. Like I was being interviewed by the national TV in Belgium. So that was for one of the projects I was running. So that was kind of flattering, I would say. And I really love this photo. So I used that on my resume. But of course, you can use whatever you want. In this case, I don't have the original photo. So I'm just going to use something that could work for this exercise. Okay, like this one, for example. Let me see if I have something even better. Maybe I still have this original photo. Let me see. All right, here it is. So I can just take this and drop it here. You can arrange that if you want. So I'm going to make this slightly bigger so I'm more kind of in the center. Okay, that looks good. All right, so that's the first part. I will have to add some kind of layer on top of this to make it a little bit darker. All right, so I can use this. I can create this effect by adding a shape, a rectangle shape that is exactly the same size as my photo. So like this, covering it all. And what I will do, I will go back to the photo, bring back the saturation in the adjust section, use this one, and we are going to select some colors for this resume. Okay, so if we look at this one, we can see consistent colors, which is this yellow. So I'm going to go with one color only, which is going to be yellow, but we are going to use a brighter yellow. And then I'm going to use this color right here, which is the Canva gray. So these two are going to be my main color, this bright yellow and this Canva gray. Okay, so for this rectangle, I want it to be dark. So I'm going to use the gray one and I'm going to add some transparency, maybe 75, 76, bring that on top of my photo right here. I can give it a little bit more transparency, maybe 70, even maybe push it to 60. Yeah, that's still all right. Okay, so let's compare to the original. See, it's interesting. Yep, I can reduce the size of this slightly. And of course, the other frame as well, to give it a more panoramic kind of view. Okay, that's pretty good. The next thing I need to do is to add my personal information and my photo. So I'm going to add my photo first, which is a circle like this. Okay, make this slightly smaller, bring it here. Okay, that is good. And I'm going to add this column here, the yellow color column on the side. All right, so this is going to be another shape. Simply bring up a shape. Could be any kind of rectangle or square right now. And I'm just simply going to create that column, create that division in my resume and push it back. So position, push it to the back. All right, now I just need to make sure this is actually centered. You see, Canva gives me an indication that this is centered with my column here, and change the color of this to my yellow. Okay, this starts to look good. Now I need a good photo of myself to insert in that frame right here. So back to my photos, not my photos, to my upload, sorry. Yep, and I'm going to add this photo that already has the little color things around it. So that's pretty good. Just that I need a different color of yellow to match this border right here. So what I'm going to do is simply grab that color with a color picker, grab that yellow right here, and I'm going to change my yellow for this one yellow. So this is just because I had added this border to my photo. Of course, you don't have to do this. You can use whatever your brand or your dominant color is. But in this case, I want to kind of reproduce the original resume. So I'm going to be using this yellow color. Okay, good. So this starts to take shape, as you can see. Now I have to add all the text boxes, this section right here that kind of highlights my social media. So let's do this. I'm going to type R to bring another rectangle. Okay, and I'm going to create now this little box that comes right here, about this size. We should still be able to see the reporter here holding the microphone kind of like this. And this needs to, let's zoom in a little bit to 100%. And that's something I encourage you to do, is to zoom in on the different sections you're working on to make sure, because this is precision work, guys. So super important to have everything aligned on your resume. Okay, so I will add all the text boxes later, but I'm just taking care of the layout of this resume for now. So this is good. We have our different sections. Now, one thing I see is that I have these lines right here to separate my resume into different sections. So I have 3 lines that are yellow, and I'm going to use these lines. I'm going to create these lines here. So how do you create lines in Canva? You can search in your elements for line. And this is okay. For example, let's import this line. You import a line, you can change the color. Okay, but how do you like make this thinner? You cannot really make it thinner. You can make it smaller, and then you can drag it, but it's really difficult to make it really thin and drag it as you wish. So the workaround this is you could just import a frame. So let me go back to my elements. Okay, let's use a grid and let's fit. So we see what we are actually doing here. You see, I'm just importing a frame or a grid actually, and this is much easier for me to work with. You see, in terms of size, I can pull it from any direction basically. So this gives me more flexibility, and I'm going to be using this. Let's zoom even more. Okay, now I have this size right here. I can move it one more time. Okay, all I need to do is to add my color inside this, and I have a nice line. So let me zoom out to see how it looks. It looks pretty decent and pretty close to what I had in my original one. They were just a little bit longer. So I'm going to make this longer from here to here. All right, so I need 3 of these, so I can simply select Command-C, Command-V 2 times, and now I have my 3 lines. Let's make sure they are aligned and that I'm going to be using them in the appropriate places. All right, so let's use this to kind of have an idea of where it needs to be. So this one needs to be slightly up like this. And we, of course, will adjust this as we go. We're just trying to create the layout for our resume here. Okay, it looks pretty good. So one thing I want to show you guys is, let me zoom in. This part of the resume right here. This part, I have to admit, I didn't create this in Canva back then. Like, this was created for my resume, I believe 2 or 3 years ago. I used another program to create this. And I don't believe you can easily create something like this in Canva because you cannot curve the text so far. Or you can, but it would take a long time to do so. And also I couldn't find this shape, this diagram with the different sections right here. So my thoughts were, okay, let's go to Google, let's find some other types of diagram. And I found different things. This is actually a Canva element. You could use that if you feel like this is your thing. I particularly use this one. I like this one. So this is simply made out of triangles and circles. So this is completely reproducible in Canva, or you could do something like this as well. So this is really up to you. This is my original shape that I imported. So I started recreating one with triangles, okay, and circle. And this is what I got to. So this was super easily done. I just found a triangle with rounded angles. So for this, I believe I went to my elements and I searched for triangle round, something like that. Yes, and you find your triangles here. So you just import the same triangle and then rotate them in order to achieve this result right here. Put a circle in the middle, and then what you can do, you can group this, and then you have your keywords. You can even have another icon here in the middle if you want to add the heart that I was using. You can simply type in heart and find a nice heart that you want to have here in the middle. Okay, for example, this one, use your color. So we will use the dark color. For example, this color right here. You make this smaller. And it could be something else, of course. It really depends. You have to see if this is appropriate also for your for this specific job you're applying for. Okay, so I have this now. So what I'm gonna do, I have grouped it. So let me show you. If you ungroup, you have all your elements. So I will regroup this. I will Command C this, go back to my resume here, and I will paste that, okay? But before that, I'm going to lock a few elements here because I don't want them to move. Okay, so I've been locking this. So now I click on my new resume here, and I'm gonna paste Command V. Okay, and this thing now shows here. I can make it slightly smaller to make it fit here perfectly. Okay, so this is what we have now instead of the original shape right here, which I have to admit I prefer the original one. That's why I use this one, but cannot be recreated so far in Canva, or at least not in a reasonable amount of time. So I would go with this one, and this is really up to you to change this for whatever you want. Okay, so this is taking shape. I'm going to work on this section right here now. Languages, skills, and a little loading bar made out of circles here, okay? So first, I'm going to copy this text box because these are my skills and I need to add that in order to know how many of these little loading bars I need, okay? So I'm gonna bring this and I'm gonna zoom in 100% to be working on my resume here. Okay, so let's see the original size here, 8.3. That font is relatively small. So let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. My concern is that you need everything to fit on your resume, okay? So I'm going to bring my text here because this section is the section with the most text. So I'm going to paste this first here. Okay, looks good. Let me center this a little bit better. And this one right here, I'm gonna lock it too, so it doesn't get in the way. You see, when I select, it doesn't show anymore. So I recommend you lock your stuff so it doesn't bother you, it doesn't come in the way. Okay, so this is good. I believe we can do like this. I'm going to import the text for my second part, education, okay? Control C, and I will paste this here. Of course, I will make sure it is aligned with the text on top. And then I have this text right here, also needs to be aligned. Not there, but with this one, yes. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. You will add your titles. So what's important in here that I didn't comment so far? The first thing is to have a consistency in terms of colors. Second thing is to have a consistency in terms of fonts. Okay, so here I've been using Roboto 8.3 for my main body of text. Okay, that may seem a little bit small, but you have to realize that you have to fit all this information on your resume. Okay, so you need to print it and to actually see how small it is. If it's too small, then you have to do it again. You have to use a bigger font. But for me, all of this was very readable, so I kept it this way. Okay, next thing you want to do once you have your color and your font is to have your font hierarchy. Okay, so you have the section titles if you want. So section titled here are education, professional accomplishments. So you have to determine a style for these section headers. Okay, so these are Norwester 18.7. Okay, and you have all caps as well. So this is what I decided to go for. I will copy one, so Command C, and bring it here. So I have my section header. Then you have to decide how you align it. Here it is aligned with the line here. Okay, so it is aligned with the line, and also you can see the text box is touching the line. So I will make sure the same thing is going on for the other sections here. Okay, so I'm gonna bring them, education, bring it here, align with the line and touching it. Okay, and the last ones here, languages. Then we'll have skills over there. Okay, putting it at the end of the line. Okay, this looks good. Resume is taking shape. One thing maybe that I want to change here is the color of this black right here. I will ungroup this because I realized I'm using a different black, a different gray than on the original CV, which is a little bit darker. So I'm gonna go with this black here and I'm gonna change it for, you remember I was using the Canva gray color, okay? And I will apply that to all. So you can tick this little box here and change all of this darker gray, almost black color to this Canva gray. Change all, boom, and all are changed. Okay, this is me being a perfectionist. You might not have even noticed it, but I think it's important, and I will regroup this as well. All right, now we have our resume taking shape. All I need to do is to, to create these little loading bars that will come here. Okay, so let's start working on these. So these were actually circles or little shapes, round shapes. So I'm gonna open one. Of course, it's going to be way too big. And I'm gonna make it way smaller. Something like this. And you will have understand that we need maximum precision for this. So I'm gonna zoom all the way in, okay, to 300 and keep reducing the size of these. Okay, so this looks about right. I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna change the color of this to yellow. Yep. And I'm going to simply duplicate it. So I can use my Option or my Alt key on my keyboard. Option if you have a Mac, Alt if you have a PC. So if I hold it and move it slightly like this, so I'm holding my Alt or my Option key and just clicking and moving, you see, like this. And I need 5 of these. And don't worry too much about the spacing for now. Okay, I need 5. So the next thing, you want to have the exact same spacing in between these lines, right? You want to make sure this is correctly spaced, evenly spaced. So I'm going to select them all, go use the position button, and then you have this button here that says space evenly horizontally. I'm going to click on that, and Canva is going to use its intelligence to evenly space these little balls right here. Okay, now I can group that. Perfect. And I can easily duplicate that using the same technique. My Option or my Alt key on my keyboard, I hold it and then I just simply move that. Or you could duplicate. There are so many ways. So let me show you another way. You could just simply use the duplicate button right here. It's the same result. You achieve the same result. Okay, this looks good. Now I have my little loading bars. All I have to do is to simply adjust. So the bright color, the yellow color, will be when you actually reach that level, and it will be black if you didn't reach that level. Okay, so for example, my Dutch is not that perfect, and neither is my Thai. So I'm gonna add some little darker balls here to indicate that I don't reach that level. So if I go back here, yeah, that's what I have. I speak English, French, and Spanish fluently, and then the 2 other languages are not complete. So that's how you create your little loading bars. You can use something else. You can use whatever you like, you know, but I like to use these little balls. It added a little bit of character to this section right here. So I can even just use this and make it bigger if I want, or I just need to make sure I respect the font hierarchy. Okay, so if this text right here needs to be the same size as the rest of my document, of course. So this is looking good for now. There's one thing I see here is that the skills that I have here. So let me import the text box. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this, Control C. Okay, those are my skills, and each skill was represented by a little icon right here. So I could, of course, copy paste this, but I want to show you the idea behind this, is that you can go into Canva and find here in your elements, you can find icons. So video marketing, let's find a video icon. Okay, so I type in video icon, and I need to find something that represents video icon that is simple, like a play button, like this one, for example. So I'm going to click on that, bring it here, and it needs to be very small again. So again, we are going to zoom all the way in. So we have this full precision. And this is going to be kind of a tedious exercise where you will have to zoom in and out. You will have to find the right icon and import that. This is going to take a little bit of time, all right? So I'm going to speed this up, but for the sake of this exercise, just be aware of the workflow. You see your keyword here. So you have video marketing, you find a video icon. You have social media marketing, you find a social media icon, and so on. So I'm going to speed up the video while I'm doing this, but I'm going to reproduce this manually as well. Okay, I have now found most of my account, all of my accounts actually. So what I need to do is to make sure that they have the right color scheme, all right? They all have the right color scheme, and of course the right size. Okay, so I just need to make them all the same color. Let's do this. Make sure they all have my brand colors, my resume colors, and same size. So for size, I'm just going to use the first one as the model. You see in Canva is going to help me resize each of them perfectly. So this is graphic design. Yep, social media. And like this, you are using each of the icons that you found, resize them, and just move them to the right place. This one is slightly too big. So it's a game of precision here, precision work. Yep, good public speaking, that would be the microphone. Then we have brand and marketing, that would be the light bulb. Make sure everything is at the same size. And sometimes you'll have to judge about the size. I mean, you will have to make it slightly bigger and smaller manually, because some items are naturally bigger than others or positioned in such a way, like this microphone right here. It's more like a vertical type of icon. And then team leader, but you get the idea, right? It's about finding something that represents visually the skill that you are representing. So I'm going to now group all this and fit my resume to screen so I can arrange it. Right, looks good. What I can do is not to zoom in a little bit more. Okay. And make sure this is aligned with this right here. Okay, so something like this looks perfect. All right, we are almost there, guys. So what we can do now is to better balance, I would say, everything here within the sections to make sure we have our stuff centered, but also equal distance to this line right here. So it's properly balanced. Something like this. And maybe this push down slightly. Okay, one thing I see is that I could leave more space between my sections. So I select them both and I use my keyboard arrows to add more spaces. Okay. So this is what we have so far. This is looking good. All I need to do is to add my information here, my professional summary, and the additional sections. I have 1, 2, 3, my professional experience, education, skills, and yeah, my skills. Now I need to add my personal detail, my name, etc. So for this, I'm going to go back to my model, to my original CV. Okay, so we have these texts here. I'm going to copy them. Okay, I don't need this, and I don't need this. So this. I'm just selecting all the boxes I need here. So Command C, and I'm going to paste them here. Okay, make sure they are aligned. This looks good. So I have the career summary, a professional summary about me. I have additional information, what's in the pipeline, so what I'm working on. And this looks good. Everything is aligned. I have my personal skills. Maybe this can bring down a little bit. And this one up a little bit. So it's more consistent. Small part of the same thing. Like this. Okay, this is really looking good now. All I need to do is to add my professional title, my name, and my personal details. So and that's why it's going to get interesting, because we are going to make everything clickable. All right, so first I want to duplicate this text box, okay, for my name. And my name is going to be using my neutral gray color, okay? So my name, of course, Ronnie Hermosa. It's actually split into 2 lines, okay? No worries, Ronnie Hermosa, like this, and this is bigger, of course. So this is probably the biggest thing that will show on your resume, so don't hesitate to make it big, okay? Make it big, position it wisely also, so it doesn't cover one of the important elements, I would say, that is here. So in this case, I had 43.6 and the spacing between my letters of 1.1 basically. So let's do the same here. Spacing, yeah, 1.1 and 43. Okay, this is good. I believe I could maybe reduce the spacing slightly. Okay, so I will reduce the spacing to 1, let's say. Okay, better. Okay, Ronnie Hermosa. My job title, of course, yes. So for this, just going to bring it from here. Okay, and this seems like that has more space here. Let me check on the dimension, 816 by 1056. And we have, oh yeah, this first one is in pixel, this one is in centimeters, but it's an A4 document. I remember I would not have created a resume which is not an A4. I know what's going on here. I think the reason I had more space on the other one is that this section right here was simply bigger. So I'm going to push everything down and I'm going to make this section right here that is locked. So I will unlock and I will select both the photo and the section. First the photo, bring this down some more. Yep, and then my solid that is on top of it, give it the darker color. This one also locked, so I will unlock and bring it down. And then, of course, don't forget, unlock your photo, Ronnie, and bring it down to, yep, perfect. Now, all I need to do is to adjust these as well. Going to relock the elements, okay? Going to relock this, the photo, perfect. And now I can select text here, don't forget the about me. Now we'll push this down. Perfect. Now everything makes more sense. It's more balanced. Okay, and I have more space for these boxes right here. This one doesn't need to be that big. I'm gonna reduce its size. And this is locked, right? Oh yeah, I have 2 things here. Yep, so I need to lock this one as well. Really have to make sure everything is precisely aligned here because every error will show. Okay, so locking this, and I will be locking the layer underneath as well. Okay, now all of this is locked, nothing is going to move. So I guess what I wanted to do is to bring this down a little bit. All right, so all I have to do now is to add the little details here. So this is just an arrow and a fantasy font. I'm just going to copy it to save some time. Yep, it's here. I saw it. Okay, with fair trade at heart. And then I have these personal details here. Okay, so same thing. Whoops. Need to lock this. I'm going to copy this information, paste it here. Actually, I'm not going to copy it. I'm going to show you. What I'm going to copy is these icons, okay? 1, 2, the 3 icons, Control C. I'm going to copy this here on another page. and bring it up. Okay. I want to bring this up to here. Okay. And the reason I didn't want to copy this directly, okay, is because I inserted some links in there. So if I click here, you will see I click on the link button. Where is my link button? Here. If I click here, you will see a link to my LinkedIn. I'm going to quickly reproduce that. Okay, so I'm going to copy the first text box, the first link, sorry, and add another text box. So T. I'm going to use the same. So this is another trick I want to show you. If you want to copy the style of a text box, simply click on it, use the little paint style button, and you click on your link. Okay, I want this to be justified to the right, to the left, sorry. And I will take my text box, bring it here. This is too small actually, so it needs to be 8.3. Remember, 8.3. Okay. And what I wanted to do is reduce, not reduce the size like this. What's going on? 8.3. Okay. I think I need to zoom in. That's what's going on. To, let's say 200. Can get rid of this panel also. 200 is too much, so let's go for 125. Okay, something has moved here. I can see it. Just make sure nothing moves. That's going to be your main pain with the CV creation, guys, that things are going to be moving. Yeah, actually my whole window moved. So I'm going to lock things so they don't move here. Yes, and what I wanted to do is to reduce this. Took me more time than I hoped so to get there. Okay, so now I need to paste my link. All right, LinkedIn. Okay, let me see. All right, yes, I just don't need the first part. Okay, but I need to make sure I have the link in there. So I will paste that link, apply, and now when people click here, it will send them to that link. All right, so we need to do the same thing. I'm going to copy this text box 2 times. And be careful, guys, because when you copy the text box, you also copy the link. See, my link is also here, so I don't have to forget to delete this and add the new link. All right, otherwise they will all go to the same link and you don't want that. Okay, copying the text and the links. Of course, you will add your very own social profiles here, Facebook. Okay, so this will give your employer a good reason to go check you out. Okay, so once you have copied your links, don't forget to add them back into the relevant places, both the icon and the actual link. That's already here. And then I should have a link to my Facebook in this icon. Exactly, but that's because I copied it from my previous page, so yours won't have that link. Just go grab your link on Facebook and add it here. Okay, so yeah, changing this one for Facebook, apply. Now I have my links here. Everything looks legit. Okay, so what else did I miss here? Yeah, my personal details. This is the same thing. I added a simple icon here with my my personal details. So they are also clickable. If you click here, you can send me an email. Let me show you the link. Yep, you see, that's my website, actually, the website of my company. Okay, so I'm going to copy these. Let me lock these things so they're not getting in the way. This is getting in the way. All right, so let me copy these quickly, like this, and I'm gonna copy this as well. Bring everything here. All right, so this is almost finished, guys. Just need to tell you a little bit about my strategy here, about putting my links. Why did I do that? Well, we've seen in the previous lectures that your CV, your resume is only the beginning of the path to getting hired. Once Managers will go through your CV. They will want to know more about you, especially if they are interested in your profile. So they will want to visit your social media. So adding links here, not just any links, like not random links. You will see there's no Facebook profile here, for example. There's a Facebook page. There is my LinkedIn page. So I bring the people who are going to check me out to the places where I judge they should go look for me. They probably will go try to find my Facebook public profile and these kind of things. But if my privacy settings are well done or well put and configured, they might not find all the information about my personal life. But because I'm bringing them to specific places, specific social channels that I have cautiously prepared before they get there, I have more control over where these people, where these recruiters might go look. All right, so I think we've done a good job. There's one thing missing here is a little home icon because French is my home language. So let me add this very easily. I just need a home icon and a little house right here. Yeah, this one will do the trick. Just make sure I'm clicking here at the right place. Adding this, of course, I don't want it to be blue. I want it to be Canva gray, and I want it to be super small, kind of like this. We bring this, put it here in the parentheses, and of course I'm going to zoom all the way in to position this exactly where it needs to be. Okay, good. Let's zoom back out. Can delete this page. And we have a killer resume, guys. I think we made it. Of course, you can always tweak when you look at it from a distance. Like now I can see the whole thing. Like for example, let me see this and this maybe could go down a little bit. So it's just an act of balancing your resume once you have finished to place all the information, but this looks very good. Took us about 50 minutes to recreate this, but I believe I gave you a very detailed explanation of how to do it. So to recap, start with the template library, find a couple of templates, resumes that you like, that have features that you might use in your own resume. Open them all in different tabs, and then just go get the elements that you like, copy them, go to your actual CV, the file that you are using, so it should be an A4 document, and paste them. So you copy and paste from the other templates, and then you start to remix, to kind of reorganize, use your personal information, and at the end, you make sure you have your color consistency, your font consistency, font hierarchy, same size for the sections, headers, for your body text, use the same hierarchy. And yes, alignment. Alignment is key. Make sure everything is balanced, is well aligned. It's still legible. Print your resume, try to read it, everything, see if it's good. And that's the way to go, guys. I hope this lecture was useful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your beautiful resumes. So I will leave it here for now, and I will see you in the next lecture.
Come see my CD, come.